I would like to take some time to talk to you about the fleet program changes. The changes started about 2 years ago, but they were pretty much behind the scenes. But now we're at the point where it impacts you. First off, let's do some introductions. The fleet team is made up of 3 people. My name is Rebecca Atkinson, and I'm the fleet manager. Most of you have worked with Ethan Long. He is our fleet operations specialist. And we have Colby Hurt, a graduate student from the Neely School of Business, who is helping us with the athletics rollout. Colby will be with us until May 2025. Now, like I said, the fleet changes started 2 years ago, and we've completed the following tasks. We updated the fleet policy. It was 16 years old, and it was not reflective of our current needs. It was approved by Bill Nunez last summer. We updated our pool vehicle program. We have 5 pool vehicles. Reservations used to be paper-based. You would email Chris Briones, she'd write down your reservation on a Post-it, and you'd pick up the keys from her desk between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Reservations are now in Outlook, and the keys are held at the facility's customer service center, where they're accessible 24 hours a day. A link to the instructions is on the TCU Fleet Management page. We also implemented Fleetio software. We started about 2 years ago, and facilities was the guinea pig. We input and validated vehicle data, and that validation step took about 6 months for facilities, since we have almost 150 vehicles. We rolled out to Campus Police next, where we worked through some very fun issues. We established processes and best practices. Then we rolled out to residential services, IT, and range management. And now we are rolling out to the athletics team. We hope to get to the remaining TCU departments by the end of 2025, so you will have a lot more people to commiserate with. We are now moving to the next phase, which includes 3 tasks that occur concurrently. The first one is training. This counts as your training, and we have a lot of important information to cover. Vehicle reconciliation. So we're going to start sending scheduling requests to inspect your vehicles. Fleet team will be assessing the condition and validating the information. And last, we're rolling into the rollout phase. Soon the system will start pinging you with email notifications about upcoming services or inspections. When you get these notifications, please do not ignore them. Make sure you respond to those prompts so your vehicle stays in tip-top shape. Now, before you tune out during this training, which I am sure you would never do, but you need to know that the use of Fleetio is mandatory. If you do not follow the instructions that are presented in this training, you may lose your TCU fleet vehicle. Now, before we dive headfirst into this training, we strongly recommend that each department designates a super user to handle all vehicle data entry. We found that the centralized approach works best. Facilities has a single superhero, who is Ethan, and he manages almost 150 vehicles. The police department has their own champion who oversees their 20+ vehicles. But sometimes this setup doesn't fit for every department, and in that case, individual users handle their own Fleetio tasks. Now, whether your department has chosen a super user or they've decided to let everyone join in on the fun, all vehicle operators are required to participate in this training because we want you to understand how the system works and what is expected. The next logical question is, does my department have a super user? Here is the current listing of the super user departments versus individuals. If you see super user in that center column, the super user for your department is listed on the far right. As you can see, athletics does not have a super user. Everyone is responsible for their own vehicles. Now, where can you find Fleetio? The easiest place is to find it at tcu.okta.com. It looks like most of you have been able to log in already, but if you haven't logged in, please do so as soon as possible so I can update your settings. Now, when you log in for the first time, you will probably notice that you don't see your department. You will see IT, residential services, and range management. Without getting too far into the weeds explaining what happened here, I'll just let you know that it is a known issue with the account creation team, and we're working on a fix. The good news is that after you log in, I go in and update your Fleetio account to correct your user group. If you have already logged in, your account has been updated and you will see your vehicles only. The super user or individual vehicle manager will receive an email that looks like this, notifying them a vehicle has been assigned. These notifications will be sent in the coming weeks because we cannot assign vehicles until you log in to Fleetio. Your default dashboard will look like this. And the reality is that this probably will not work for you. You can leave it alone, but I promise you are going to miss something very important. I would recommend changing the default layout. Dashboards can be customized to fit your needs. You can move, resize, and add the tiles that matter to you. And you can do this by clicking on the Manage Widgets in the upper right-hand corner and adding or deleting tiles as you see fit. So for most users, the 4 circle tiles are likely going to be the ones that you will focus on most. Service reminders, open issues, inspections, and comments. And I'll just show you really quickly how easy it is to resize these. Really, you can grab this corner and you can decide I want this one bigger or smaller. You can go over to manage widgets and you can really just click on or off the ones that matter to you. But again, I really recommend these 4. Now, some of you will only have 1 or 2 vehicles, while others may have dozens. So unlike super users who have a lot of vehicles to sort through, most folks in athletics are only going to have 1 or 2, so it's not going to be a huge issue. You can search for any part of the vehicle information in the search bar. I'll show you how easy this is. If I'm looking for maybe 6582 or 85, it's going to tell me I have nothing. But if I'm looking at, I should have had this actually pre-prepped for you. So I see S6 Elite. So say I'm looking for an S6, the system is going to pull up all of my S6 Elite cards. Now, what do we need from you? You know how to get in Fleetio, you know how to adjust your dashboard, and you know how to find your vehicles. But we need 3 things from you. We need you to upload your maintenance records. You will receive an email from the system a couple times a year, depending on your mileage, and it's going to notify you that maintenance is due. And you're going to receive that notification over and over and over again until the service is logged. It cannot be ignored. That notification will also be sent to the fleet management team. So every day you get that notification, the fleet management team will get that same email. And so if you don't take care of it, the fleet team will also start to email you. You will also need to upload your unscheduled service records. So if your alternator fails and has to be replaced, you will be required to upload those records into our system. And last, you need to complete quarterly inspections. Now, this is a new requirement. Typically, fleet issues the department a vehicle, and we don't see it again for 8 to 10 years. We had such a high percentage of vehicles being returned dented, rusted, and dirty that some of these were in really, really horrific shape. And so the software implementer asked us how often we perform inspections. And when we asked for guidance, they recommended that we have everyone inspect their vehicles daily. And when we quit laughing at their suggestion, and they said, well, how about weekly? Our goal was to be reasonable, but not allow things to get too bad before we see them. So we landed on quarterly inspections. So 4 times a year, we need you to inspect those vehicles. This also complies with our TCU fleet policy. You don't have to remember when to do the inspections. The system is going to email you a reminder. Now, this is the part you probably actually care about. What is in it for you? The first one is policy compliance. Now, as thrilling as it sounds, it's our responsibility to manage and maintain all vehicles according to TCU fleet policy. Yes, that's right, the actual rules, not just the it still rolls, so it's okay approach. It may not win us any awards for creativity, but at least we'll avoid those awkward conversations with leadership about why a cart was last serviced in 2016. Safety. And we all know you can get pretty inventive when it comes to keeping those vehicles running. I have seen zip ties, duct tape, channel locks, and sheer willpower keeping those things running. But let's keep in mind that your safety is priority number one for the fleet team. Let's avoid the kind of situation where the doors don't open or they open while the vehicle is driving, brakes don't work, or worse, the vehicle catches fire. And yes, all of those situations have happened. The fleet team has some really good stories. And last, vehicle replacement. So it is no secret that we've been investing a little too much in patching up our fleet, but does TCU know exactly how much? We have no idea. But thanks to some data from some other TCU departments in Fleetio, we're starting to realize that continuously fixing these vehicles is like putting band-aids on sinking ships. And if you have a car or a cart that is constantly breaking down, I can make a very compelling argument for replacement if you have the repair costs in the system. So for example, the police had a 60-month replacement cycle for their patrol units. This year, we cut it to 48 months, and we will likely land at a 36-month replacement cycle based on their repair and maintenance costs. I'm going to walk you through the required tasks, but I won't review them step-by-step instructions, and that's because this training would be 3 hours long and you wouldn't remember it anyway. So instead, I'll give you directions on where to find those step-by-step instructions. And if you want the fleet team to walk you through your first entries, just give us a call or an email, and we would be happy to help you. The first thing we need from you is to upload the historical maintenance of your vehicle or your cart. So step one, you're going to select the vehicle to upload the records. And step two, you're going to go to the service entry historical records reporting instructions. Now, we met with the TCU facilities mechanic, and after a few laughs about how much duct tape we've all used to fix things, we managed to establish a maintenance plan for the TCU vehicles and uploaded that to Fleetio. Those requirements will be automatically emailed to you when they are due. So step one, the system will email you a notification that a service is due based on the TCU maintenance schedule. Step two, you're going to complete that service at any dealership or auto shop. And step three, you're going to add that service entry into Fleetio. Unscheduled service reporting. This is for services outside of regular maintenance. This is that flat tire, the broken windshield, etc. And you're going to complete that service at the dealership or auto shop of your choice. And you're going to upload using the instructions for the unscheduled service reporting. Similar to the scheduled maintenance process, you're going to receive an email from the system that tells you when an inspection is due. And so step one, you're going to identify the vehicle that needs the inspection. And step two, you're going to follow the instruction for inspections. Now you can complete these inspections using the Fleetio app if you choose. I know a lot of our fleet super users prefer the app because it's a lot easier to work with. I'm going to show you really quick what it's like to do an inspection. You're going to select the vehicle. You're going to go to an inspection submission. There's only one choice for you there. And what it's going to do is going to ask you for what your odometer reading is. And then it's going to ask you to take a picture of the inside, the front, the driver's side, the passenger side, and the rear of the vehicle. And so it really is as simple as just going to and uploading your files, attaching and each of those. And then you have to say whether your vehicle has a fire extinguisher. Now this is only required for facilities. So if you don't have an extinguisher or you're not in facilities, you can simply click NA and then pass fail on all the rest of the issues. There aren't a whole bunch of them. But if you have something that fails, you simply add a comment or a photo and explain why your mirrors failed. You sign it off and say there are no issues. It has issues, but it's safe to operate, or it's not safe to operate, and you sign your name. And when you save that inspection, that fail is going to create an issue in the system. We'll walk through what that looks like. Now, if your vehicle fails an area during the inspection sheet that I just show you with those rearview mirrors, Fleetio will automatically create an issue for you. And you're going to need to have that repair completed, whether it be by someone in your team or by an auto mechanic. And once the issue is fixed, you'll need to resolve that open issue in Fleetio. So if you would have had that one, it would say one here, and you would just go click on it to resolve it in Fleetio. Now, you're probably not going to use this often, but this is for notifying the system you have an issue, but you haven't fixed it yet. This is unrelated to an inspection. So you have a broken windshield, or you just haven't had time to fix it, but you don't want to forget that that windshield is cracked or broken. And so you can follow the instructions for creating the issue for a future repair to be completed. Now, what can't you do in the system? You cannot add or edit vehicles, and this includes carts. If you switch out a cart, we need to know about it. We'll take out your old cart and we'll add the replacement in Fleetio for you. You can't view vehicles outside your assigned route, so residential services won't see IT vehicles and vice versa. You can't create service reminders, service programs, or contacts. And I don't think that's something you care about, but I'm letting you know just in case. And you can't delete service entries, inspections, meter entries, or issues. Now, if you need any of these items done, reach out to the fleet team and we would be happy to help you. Now, we have a bunch of training resources on our TCU Fleet Management website. We regularly update this page with changes to processes or updates to software. And if you're still confused, we'd be happy to sit with you while you enter your data, because let's be honest, sometimes it's just easier to get a real quick walkthrough than to pretend everything that you understood everything I taught in this training. So we are especially motivated if you offer us snacks. Now, what are the next steps? So Colby and Ethan will be reaching out to you to get your vehicle information. We have a good understanding of your street legal vehicles, but we have a known blind spot related to carts. Colby and Ethan are going to get all your cart info entered, and they're going to confirm your vehicle data. Once your vehicles are added, we need you to upload those old maintenance records. And again, if you need a little help navigating that, we would be happy to meet with you in person or hop on a Zoom call. And last, you're going to wait for system notifications. Obviously, if you're due for a service now, I want you to complete your service. Please don't wait for the system, just get it done. Now, if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me, or you can email fleet@tcu.edu. And you can also email any of us listed on the slide from the first slide of this deck. And that is it. Thank you so much for attending your training.